Hello and welcome to Strictly Game Boy, the podcast that runs on 4 AA batteries. I'm your host Clay, and today I'm joined by my co-host Bryan. Hola, Bryan.
Hi, Clay.
Hello.
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been so long.
I know. I miss you always.
Always and forever.
Well, I don't know about forever, but I mean for right now.
At least for now.
All the time, I miss you.
As of now, standing where we're at.
Right.
I'm sitting, actually, but you know what I mean.
I think I do.
Right on, dude. So, anything new with you before we start into today's episode?
I mean, things are good. We heard about Nintendo's online service, so been waiting for that for a long time. So
yeah,
things are good in Nintendo land.
E3 is quickly approaching.
Almost too quickly.
It'll be here before we know it. Maybe we'll get our Game Boy Classic announcement that we've been waiting for.
That would be cool. I'd be down with that.
But probably not going to happen at E3, but you never
Who
know.
knows? Anything can happen at E3. It's a magical place.
It is a magical place.
Filled with hope and wonder.
Awesome. Well, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Well, cool. All right, guys. Well, today we obviously have a great episode. I mean, when have we ever not brought you a great episode? Today is episode 6 of Strictly Game Boy. That means this is our 6th episode. We've made 5 previous to this one.
No, we had an episode 0.
Right, but that doesn't really count.
Oh, all right, whatever.
I mean, it counts to iTunes, but it doesn't count to us. All right, sure it counts, but anyway, guys, should be a good episode. A little different than usual. Today we are taking a look at Banishing Racer. Let's go. All right, so Banishing Racer, very interesting title. You might be sitting there going, I don't think I'm familiar with this game, Clay. I don't know if I've ever heard of a Game Boy game called Banishing Racer. Well, there's probably a reason for that, and we are here today to spread the word and let you know just exactly why you haven't heard of this game, or at the very least, probably never played it. Bryan, I'm going to hand it over to you. Why don't you explain to the listeners a little bit about this game?
Okay, wow, excuse me. Banishing Racer is a Japanese-only platforming game.
Okay.
About a banished... I'm not quite sure why it's called that.
Don't try to tie it in. It's not going to work, unfortunately.
But it is about a car.
That is true.
That is very much true.
The word racer, though, I don't know if that's a very... accurate.
I mean, I don't.
Because we're not
true.
You're not really racing.
You're not racing. In fact, everything else is going. For the most part, all the other enemies are going against you.
If anything, you're going against the race. Like,
right.
You're going the wrong way on the racetrack.
So you're that one friend that we all had when we were kids, who, when you played racing games, would just turn around and be a dick and try and run into everybody else.
Bryan, this is a family show. We can't say that word on the air.
I already told you that's how families are made.
I'm not going to lie, though. I did do that a lot. Only when my friends were in on it, though. And we always singled out Jeff Gordon for some reason. And we just try to run into Jeff Gordon. I remember doing it on the N64.
Why does Jeff Gordon get so much hate?
I don't know. He's just he's easy to hate on.
I guess if if you do as well as he did.
He's the Guy Ferrari of NASCAR. Just look at that face.
How many James Beard awards does Guy Fieri have?
Great question.
Yeah.
We should probably circle back around to the topic at hand here.
But this game was at least published by Jalico. I'm going to go ahead and guess, based on what little research I was able to come up from to find on this game. It probably was also developed by Jalico. I can't find the developer anywhere. I've looked in some places and asked some people, and best guess is they both developed and published this.
Now, who is Jalico? I'm not really familiar. I mean, have they done other games?
I mean, I guess they make some of their own games, but like a lot of other people, they publish Tosei games. They'll they'll publish pretty much anyone's crap.
Wow.
A lot of times crap.
Okay.
But I don't really know too much about Jalico. I know they're Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, I'm scrolling through their games here, not seeing a lot that's sticking out to me as, big titles. It's a lot of sports, racing, flying, some Tetris ports. Interesting. Yeah, not a whole lot. Looks like they've done a lot of publishing as well as developing.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a team or two or three or had back in the day.
Right.
And then just picked up licensed other people's games to publish.
Okay.
But this did come out in the 26th of July, 1991. So like around the second birthday of the Game Boy, I guess.
So not super late or anything.
Nope. And it is an original game.
Right.
As far as I know, I don't think there's another. This is based off of anything.
Which is interesting that it's so early, because sometimes games that don't show up in the U.S. Can be because it's released so late that they're like, hey, it's not worth bringing to other, the states or whatever.
Or it needs to be translated.
Right. All the stuff that comes is like, it's too late. Let's just put it out where we're making it and not worry about it. So, we don't really know why this wasn't ever released outside of Japan, right?
Not that I know of. I don't know. I mean, Jalico published things in America,
right,
on the Game Boy.
So as far as we could find, there wasn't really a clear explanation as to why it never came.
No.
And maybe,
and like I was also trying to hint at is that sometimes games need to be translated, and this game doesn't really need to be translated. It has the names of American cities in it.
Yeah.
And there's really no dialogue, or I don't think there's any dialogue at all.
Is there in the cutscene at the intro? I know we just watched it.
No, it was it was very that no words were spoken between an angel and a car.
Right. Which is mostly the reason why we're actually reviewing this is it's a very approachable game for non-Japanese speaker or readers to play. And the fact that it's a platformer helps, because once you get in the game, that you're good to go. This is and so it's really approachable for people in the U.S. In fact, that's why it kind of is so popular, and in fact very rare and expensive and hard to find here, is because it's a really good one. Well, I mean, it's a good game relatively.
I think so.
And it's just, you don't need to read anything. You can just play the game.
Unless you're a dork like me and you really want to read whose names pop up in the credits just in case you see something. Those were all in like kanji.
Right. Fortunately can't get those, but any other like trivia or behind the scenes stuff?
I tried to like find something, but
there was like nothing. We really were struggling to find any information. There's a couple of YouTube videos of people talking about it, playing it. So it's a fun one, because really the reason I found this game, because I'd never heard of this. I guess we can kind of hit on any history we have with the game. Is I was just looking around online trying to find games that didn't come to the US that would be cool to talk about, things that maybe our listeners and ourselves haven't played, and for whatever reason this was the one that really stood out to me. After hearing about it, went and just powered it up on my computer or on my EverDrive. I can't remember which it was. And just realized, oh, wow, this one would be perfect to talk about. It's totally approachable. And so, but yeah, for some reason, other than that, we're really struggling to find any information about it outside of just people's thoughts after playing it. So it's definitely one of the more popular non-US released Game Boy games that I found. And there's probably more out there, but at the very least, as I've said, this is probably the most approachable one. So if you're listening to this and wanting to know if you should check it out, based on the fact that it's Japanese, I would say definitely. So, I mean, we wouldn't be making this episode if it wasn't, to be honest. Although on Strictly 64 back in the day, I did a Mahjong episode that was just Japanese, and that was a huge mistake. I should have done some other game, and
Come on, guys, this will be great.
There was so many menus of different ways to play Mahjong in Japanese. And
do you know how to play Mahjong?
No. And I was
what
looking
were you doing?
I was looking up YouTube videos on how to learn, and they're like 3-hour long videos, and I was like, I've made a big mistake. I should have just backed out, but we powered through, and it was rough. But anyway, so Brian, any other history with the game?
No, it pops up, and someone will write an article, or they'll mention it on a podcast. Like every now and then, I hear people talk about this game, but I'd never played it, so yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, cool. Well, we're really excited to talk about this game. I think that there's plenty to talk about. Brian played through the entire game, beat it from start to finish. I played through some of it. I don't think I maybe got halfway.
Yeah, I'd say half.
And so I had a pretty clear idea of it. I wouldn't have mind playing more of it. Just didn't have the chance. But I enjoyed my time. So we'll talk about that. So, yeah, let's do it.
And now it's time for this week's Song of the Week.
Coming back in with the Mysterious Woods song from Link's Awakening.
Nice.
Yeah, no. I like this song. I've been playing this game recently for one of my other podcasts, Chat of the Wild. And this is like the first kind of really treacherous area you have to go into in the game. When you start out in the beach, and that's a little, there's bad guys there too. But like this is the first kind of okay, I'm really in the bad area, and I really like this song. I've always kind of liked this song a lot.
Yeah, it's interesting for a Lost Woods, Haunted Woods kind of song, because it starts off with this really funky beat, and then you're like, all right, where is this gonna head? And then that bass line comes in,
yeah,
and then it kind of builds from there, and then all of a sudden you get up to that point, it's just kind of funky goodness, and then all of a sudden the main melody line comes in, and it gets really a lot more spooky and dark,
haunting a bit.
Yeah, and so not normally what I would think of if I were to create music for an area like that. But I like it though. In fact, those little high notes that are going back and forth, really just kind of heighten your senses, makes you be like, oh,
it's a little unsettling,
right? And so I think,
please stop playing that.
We're not supposed to be here.
I don't want to hear that anymore.
Yeah, I'm excited for the day that we get to cover this game. Unfortunately,
it's a good game.
Unfortunately, it's going to be a while before we hit this one.
It will be sometime, but it will be worth it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure everyone is waiting anxiously for us to get there.
Anticipation it's fun.
It is. So, good choice, Brian. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, listeners, if you would like to submit a Song of the Week to us, you can feel free to contact us in multiple ways. Firstly, you could just, if you're watching this on YouTube, you could leave a comment below. If you want, you can email me, clay@thenintendovillage.com, and send us your requests. Give us a song. Tell us why you love it, and maybe we'll play it here on the show. We pretty much play a random song from a random Game Boy game every week. And so we enjoy picking them, but we are totally down to hear what you guys have to say. Any requests you might have. So let us know. Right, Brian?
Yeah. And, tell us why you like it, and make sure it can cover 5 minutes. We have a lot of airtime to fill. So
I don't even think this segment has covered 5 minutes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
We love music in video games, but after a minute, we're like, what do we say?
After it's looped 6 times.
It's really good. It's a Game Boy song, so there's only so much it can do.
I like when it was playing that C note, and then it was like A note. It was a good song.
It was like a staccato.
Yeah, that.
And then
it's pretty great. And decrescendo, a little bit of that.
All right, we hit our 5 minutes officially.
All right.
So. Now we are going to get back to Banishing Racer. So to start off, we are going to hit on the story of this game, and then followed up by that, we'll jump into gameplay and levels to kind of talk through those briefly, and then we'll go into visuals and audio and all that other good stuff. So to start, Bryan, as I like to do, I like to throw the story portion to you just to see how you can handle it. So tell us about the story here in Banishing Racer.
Well, this one is an interesting challenge. I found a wiki that described it as a car named Al is resurrected from a scrapyard by an angel, and now in love with his savior, drives from California to New York to be with her.
What?
Now, we both watched the intro cutscene. That's about all the story you're gonna get from this game. But we both watched the intro cutscene, and I don't feel like he just bolted. Like, okay, so he's a rundown car in a scrapyard. He's still alive,
Right.
but he's just sad. He has no wheels. He's crying.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow one of his cries makes an angel come out of a star in the sky.
Logically.
She takes her droopy wand and her circular forearm. I don't know.
Yeah.
And brings him back to his youth, as it were, and he just takes off.
Yeah, he doesn't really say thank you or anything. He just leaves and heads in the direction of the pointy arrow sign that says USA on it.
Right. He's like, well, I better go to the USA.
Right. So I don't know how this person that gets that he's in love with his savior and is going to California to New York to be with her.
Yeah, see, because the other thing is when you finish these levels, actually, anytime you beat a boss, it shows you there with the angel. Also, your car grows a giant arm and a hand that's like he's scratching his head, almost like, I don't remember even having an arm. What did this angel do to me? But you hang out with the angel every time you beat a boss, so I mean, maybe we're not so much talking about the game's story as we are the Nimrod who wrote this wiki entry.
Right. So essentially, an angel sees a sad car, brings it back to life.
She's a gearhead, so she takes pity on him.
Right, and then follows him across the U.S. back to New York,
where she turns the Statue of Liberty into herself.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe she's the soul of the Statue of Liberty.
Well, she is now because she took over it. She definitely wasn't there before.
Huh.
Maybe she is the soul of liberty is what you're saying.
Right. And that's where she resides.
And she flew from New York to San Francisco to save this car.
Right.
Or LA, wherever there's a bay, there's water. I assume it's San Francisco.
So not to be anti-Japan here, but this storyline is pretty Japanese.
I mean,
is that fair to say?
I mean, I don't know if it's particularly anything.
Well, no, it doesn't make any sense and it's weird. So that kind of coincides with a lot of Japanese style storylines.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe that's mean to say, but
I don't think it's mean to say. I don't. No, not that. I just don't.
Regardless, it is interesting.
It's foreign. It's foreign
for sure
to us, especially.
Yeah, definitely. And it is interesting that it is a Japanese release only game, but is based entirely in the United States.
Yeah,
which made it really confusing when I first played it. I'm like, what?
Especially because you're going through places like Denver, which, I'm assuming maybe in the 80s it was just a bunch of cow pastures and farms.
Right.
In Denver.
Michigan has giant waterfalls.
Yes. Detroit, in fact.
Detroit,
beautiful
yes.
Scenic Detroit. It is a tropical waterfall-filled paradise.
Right. Some of the map markers are completely off. Like Chicago is on the other side of like the lake or something. So some of it's a little bit, and they took some liberties with some of the level designs, but
Yeah.
it makes it a little more endearing, I guess. So
Also, it's weird because the place that you're going to, the level that you're on the map is not the dot that you're standing on. It's the next dot on the map. So it's saying you're driving to Denver. So maybe you start off in the cow pastures on your way to Denver, but then that means you drive through then you're driving through the desert, the cow pastures of the desert. Yes, of course.
All right, so there's your story right there.
Yeah, and as far as the game goes, it's very standard platformer. Al drives from left to right, and he's just driving into traffic the entire time, and
evil traffic,
jumping on these cars, and it's got a really great like from Mario when you bounce on a bad guy and you hold the jump down, you will fly up off of their heads, which is always a satisfying platform mechanic as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So we've got just like Mario Land 1, we've got 3 levels per world, but we have 5 worlds this time. So
okay.
Usually the second will be some kind of, it's not really like an auto scroller. I mean, it's a side scroller, but like you're flying or floating or in some way. I think there's an underwater one at some point.
Yeah, he grows wings on the flying levels.
Yeah, he'll have wings when he's in the air. They're usually pretty easy, but then by the end they're just ridiculously difficult because there's just nowhere to go. There's spikes above you, spikes below you, and then the cars that you are bouncing off of will send you up into the spikes. So that gets ridiculous. A lot of the ways that this game does its levels is they're very short, but there is one heck of a just cluster of awful right before the very end that you have to almost memorize your way through in much like an arcade game kind of sense. Like,
right,
these are all like you have to memorize where everything is, and then just keep trying. But I mean, that happens a lot though. I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
When you run out of lives, you have to continue from the beginning of the world you're currently on.
So unlimited continues out. Just gotta.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to start at the very beginning of that, area or world.
Which is fine with me because this is a hard game.
Yeah.
I mean, your first time through is very hard, I think.
Well, it's better than it's way better than having to start at the very beginning and every time you game over or run out of continues or whatever.
Yeah. And it also kind of helps that one of the things is you can, extra lives are easy to come by. Usually there are places in the level where there will be 4 bad guys. And if you jump off 4 bad guys consecutively without hitting the ground, you will get a 1-up. And there's usually little places where they've set these up for you. If you can nail this, if you can figure out how to do it. That's the other big thing I forgot to talk about. There's a jump button and a boost of room button, and that mechanic is really fun. I actually like playing with that. You can do it midair. A lot of times in the later levels when it gets harder, you will have to do it right before jumping, so you get this boost into your jump. But yeah, you can, and it recharges pretty quickly. You can use them not simultaneously or back to back.
You can do more than one in one jump, though.
Pretty much. If you're in the air for, if you've got a big air time, you can probably pull it off twice.
Right.
But yeah, it's you can't chain it, but it's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like that mechanic. So you can use that to help you bridge the gap between, like, say you've jumped on 2 bad guys, you can shoot across the screen and make it to the 3rd one and then the 4th one and get a 1-up. So a lot of times it's tough to get a game over because you can there's some levels where there's 4 guys right at the beginning, 1-up every time.
Yep.
So that'll help with things. I ended up just save stating when I got to some of the really, really later levels, and it was just becoming obnoxious. So I was just like, all right, I'm done with this. This is how we're doing this.
Totally. That's fair enough. Yeah, so each level has a time limit that you must complete the level in. Not really a super strict time limit.
No.
It's pretty easy to get through them in time.
I think even one of the side-scrolling levels, not the regular platforming ones, but they have a time limit that will run out, but you don't die because they just I'm not sure, but it's because it's an auto scroller, so it takes too long to get through part of it, and so the timer is still there, but it doesn't do anything.
Oh, cool.
I'm not sure if all the levels do that, or if I am even interpreting this right, but I'm pretty sure I got through one of the levels with 0 seconds left.
Wow. Okay. Should we talk about the level 2 thing? I think it's worth mentioning. We talked about this.
The level 2 thing.
Yes. So what we've noticed, for some reason, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it's level 3. Level 2 on every world or area is super short and easy, but more so like just short.
Yeah, until you get to the underwater one is
where it
pretty ridiculous.
Kind of breaks it. But yeah, I notice it too in my time playing the first half of the game. World 1 level 2 is a flying level that takes all of, I don't know.
You can just stick to the top of the screen and you're fine. You don't need to hit anyone, kill anyone, do anything. You just fly over everything.
And so it's really easy. And then I remember when I got to the second world, level 2 was kind of a joke.
Yep.
As well. It's Las Vegas, and so I think you can just kind of you just fly through it. So it was really odd. Some of the levels were much longer and more difficult, and for some reason level 2 was like they were always really short. But it was nice, you get through level 1, and it was kind of a breeze to get through the next level.
I think it was 4-3. That was where it broke the cycle, as it were. That one ended up being one of those style levels, but
the motorcycle
was
no, that's 2-3. Sorry.
Yes, good job.
Got you. Vehicle pun for the win. We need more vehicle puns in this episode.
Why aren't we sticking the landing? No, that was bad. That was really bad. So, as far as the art style,
no, we're not into the art style. Shut up. What are you doing?
I'm running way past my awful pun.
You're like, I don't know what to do. So, no. Can we go really quickly through? Just explain what each, at least what each world is.
Yes.
Which is individual cities or states. Starting off, we have San Francisco is stage 1. And so your backgrounds are really the majority of what changes. Also, enemies change depending on what area you're in. So starting off, you have some cars. Some cars just drive at you. Some jump at you.
And you can tell which one is which.
They look different
by the way they look. Yeah.
And I noticed some people just allow those jumping cars to jump over them. They just keep going straight, which I never did. But it's an option. They also in that level have these airplanes that drop bombs and blow up bridges on you. And they have like really sharp teeth and creepy eyes. Like they're really weird looking.
And you can't outrun them.
Right, you have to eventually dodge the bombs.
You have to just wait for it.
Which is curious. Level 2 is more of a beach level where you're flying. You have wings, like we mentioned. There's like birds coming at you. Level 3 on that one has some tunnels with spikes on them on the roof, so you have to kind of choose.
That was a pain.
Yeah, it was a little tough. And then usually at the end of level 3, you have technically level 4, I guess, where it's the boss battle.
Mm-hmm. But not all worlds have a boss.
That's right.
At the end.
That's right. Yes.
So you'll have stage 1.
Can you even take a stab at what this first area boss is? It's like
a baby reptar that shoots water
with a sharp nose.
Gray fire.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
And he's not too hard.
No.
The weird thing about him is and this has to do with gameplay, is you can't turn your car around.
Right.
And so if you jump on the boss and then go behind him, there's no way to turn around, and you just have to.
You have to jump backwards, but you don't accelerate as fast.
And you can't boost backwards. And you're right, it's slower backwards. So it's really weird. That is the part with the mechanics that I think doesn't work the most. Because in Mega Man, you can fight a boss and you can turn around both ways, and but in this game, you just face to the right always.
Yeah, but I mean, you can still get the job done, and I also kind of think it's sort of charming, just the car backing up, like, oh crap, no, like, because you don't really have much cause to back up in this game, so like when you need to, it makes it look even funnier and also more urgent because you're just like, I gotta get out of here. This isn't working.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was the way I just thought it was kind of funny.
Totally. So then following up, World 2, whatever you want to call it, is in Las Vegas. You can tell that you're in Las Vegas because there's killer slot machines out to get you.
I thought they were gas pumps.
You did, and you had me completely convinced because you were playing it and I wasn't playing it. And you're like, dude, there's gas pumps trying to kill me. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Car game, killer gas pump. And then I played it and I was like, dude, these are slot machines. And you were like,
yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense.
I mean, it looks like it has a cord.
It does.
What could be considered like a handle or whatever on the side, like for a nozzle.
Right.
Or, But it does shoot money at me, at you. It'll shoot a coin out. So when you said that was a slot machine, I was like, that makes the money make sense now.
Right. Another interesting thing happens in level 2-3, which we have to talk about. There's a specific cameo. That
that's
comes
right.
About something that completely blindsides everybody. Brian, why don't you tell the listeners about this cameo?
You go up a hill and all of a sudden there are barrels flying at you because Donkey Kong it's either Donkey Kong or some sort of Donkey Kong Vegas billboard that throws barrels at cars.
As a monkey.
Yeah, as a monkey, just hanging out up there.
Yeah, you're like, Donkey Kong's in this level for some reason? I'm like, no, he's not. And then I looked at it and I realized, oh crap, you're totally right. That's a big monkey throwing barrels. Okay. So that's not the only cameo in this game. There's more to come, but we're not going to talk about them just yet.
Right. So after the excitement that is Vegas and Donkey Kong hanging out in Vegas, we move on to the beautiful farmlands of Denver. The first Denver level isn't too hard until you get to the end, and there are these weird alien ships that are also anthropomorphic. Although I don't know if you can call them anthropomorphic because that's anthro itself is human, so anthropology, but they are still given life to these UFOs, these alien UFOs, and they also pissed the hell out of me because I didn't know I just had to stop. All you have to do is stop to get past them. You got to these guys, right?
Yeah, they completely killed the rhythm of the level.
Yeah. So and it's over after that. Once again, like what I'm saying, you'll get almost to the end of the level and then they throw something just crazy at you. And this one being, hey, just all you have to do is brake for 15 seconds and then you're done. So
yeah,
that was fun. There we go. Good job. I know that Denver's second level is really, really, really annoying. That's where there are spikes and
is it the flying one?
It's a flying one where there are spiked caverns everywhere,
really
and then
tight gaps that you have to make it through.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to just wait for a bad guy to swim or fly through, and just let them get out of your way, and then continue on. So, and then it ends with a bulldozer boss. Vegas did not have a boss. This does have a boss. So,
right.
I don't believe 4 will have a boss either.
So maybe they kind of on and off with it.
Yeah.
Right.
When we go into 4, it starts with this level that really didn't make me all that happy.
Detroit.
Yes, Detroit's the beautiful seagulls and waterfalls of Detroit.
Yeah.
This also has a water rising mechanic where you have to rush to the next high land and before you get swallowed up by the water. This level is just a lot of you make one mistake and you're done. Back to the beginning. It's a huge pain.
Yeah.
But whatever. Then again, 4.2 also has 4.2 is the water level I think I'm thinking of, where it's really, really annoying, tight spaces.
Yeah.
Fish everywhere. You've got a little propeller and a snorkel on your guy. I have to say, Al is the cutest thing ever.
Definitely, he's super cute.
I don't know. I find him charming as hell. There's this thing you can do where it probably more in his art animation, but you can when he goes forward, he rears back, and when he breaks, he like clenches his eyes closed and breaks forward, so he's like leaning forward. So if you just hit forward and back, it just looks like he's sneezing ad infinitum. It's pretty great.
Nice.
4.3 also is of the devil. It is a factory style level. It took me forever. I think that was the one that I spent like an afternoon just like trying to beat it, stopping, eventually going back and trying to beat it again. Just taking breaks because I was getting so burned out on it. I don't think I was saved. I think this might be the level where I started doing save states, where I was just like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna finish this game, and I have to get past this level to do it.
Yeah, it's not easy. Lots of conveyor belts, pistons that will smash you,
tires that are everywhere,
evil tires, lasers shooting at you.
Okay, so at this point we are in Vegas, right? This is like the tire factory, or not Vegas, not
Detroit.
Vegas, Detroit. Sorry.
Yes.
At this point we're in Detroit. These are like the car factories of Detroit, all this stuff. Now we're starting to get into a more appropriate thing. I don't know where that waterfall came from, but
yeah,
I guess maybe the Great Lakes. Is there that much activity in that part of the Great Lakes? I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
I'm not a Michigan professional though, so
Yeah, no.
I didn't.
Wrong. I didn't major in Michigan.
Thank goodness. So then after that, you're done. No boss, like you said. Moving on to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And so
the New York levels are much longer. Some of them auto scroll, which sucks because they have little winding paths through them, and so you have to drop down, reverse as quick as you can. Which kind of once again makes them more charming. Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap!
Yeah.
Sort of thing come into it. There are sometimes cars that will hit the end of a platform and then turn around and drive the other way. So this is one of the few places where there are cars going your direction at times.
Oh, okay.
Also, Clay, you hinted at this earlier.
Yes. So 5.1 brings us to the next cameo that wasn't licensed in any way, and I mean we're kind of embellishing this, but good old Pac-Man shows up in level 5.1, except this time he's got some springs on him, and he is jumping all over the place, and he's a madman.
So is this Pac-Land? Is that the Pac-Man 2D side scroller? I can't remember. I don't. Pac-Man.
Are you trying to make a joke?
No. Well, yes, but I'm more trying to make a reference.
Oh.
It's not so much a joke, I guess.
It went over my head.
Okay.
Did you hear the joke about the roof?
No, I didn't.
It went over my head.
It went over your head, my head.
Both our heads.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's another cameo. Also in 5.2, You are what looks to be in a sewer, and there are some enemies that are turtles that are attacking you with nunchucks.
Yes.
And so there's your Ninja Turtles. This is not an unlicensed game, guys. This was approved by Nintendo and released in their home country. So this isn't something somebody made in their basement. This was a real studio that made a game with a monkey throwing barrels, a Pac-Man looking dude on springs,
and nunchuck turtles.
Like,
and they swarm you.
And we're in New
Those
York.
Those turtles are, yes, and we are good catch, sir.
We're in New York.
Damn straight.
But you're right. They do swarm. So.
Oh, they are everywhere. They're awful. Like 5-2 is my least favorite level in this whole game.
Okay.
I can't stand it. It's long. It's annoying. There are times where like if you're not quick enough, and by quick enough I mean almost pixel perfect, you're dead. You're done. It's over.
Wow. And then you hit 5-3, which is the final level of the game. What was that like, Brian?
5-3 is a nightmare that I wished I could have woken up from, and I did after about an hour.
Scrolling stage.
Yep, auto scroller.
Yep.
Ooh, it was annoying.
Ooh. And then you hit the final boss.
The final boss is a mecha Diddy Kong. Even though Diddy Kong doesn't exist yet, but that's like the best I can.
I think it's a chicken, maybe.
I don't know if that's.
But it has a weapon in a very unfortunate place.
Well, okay, and it doesn't. So it's a fun boss battle because it starts off with one gun and it shoots a giant.
It's like a tank, right?
Yeah, it's like a giant caliber bullet at you, and you don't even. All you got to do is dodge it and jump on his head. The next phase, he grows a new gun. And then you have, this time you do actually have to bounce off of one of the bullets he shoots. Only one to make it to the top of his head to hurt him. And then there'll be another bullet, a third gun on top of his head. So you have to bounce off of that one and, chain it to get on top of him. And then like a fourth one. So it's kind of a fun progression to it. Like it makes it more of a challenge than just a brute force sort of thing.
Guys, he has a wiener gun.
He does have a wiener gun though.
Yes.
And not only that, but it's like the widest barrel on this wiener monkey.
I can relate.
Shooter. Yeah, it's very round.
So he has that, he has like a handgun, and then he has one on his head.
Mm-hmm.
We're not really sure what he's supposed to be or why he's the final boss. But he is, and he does kind of look like Diddy Kong. So once you defeat him, the game is over, and you get your little final cut scene.
Yeah.
Al shows up in New York, happy as can be, as you could guess. And then he, his angel side chick shows up.
It's an alien.
He does a little yata moment where he jumps up in the air with his arm that comes out of nowhere. And then the angel disappears and
he rides off into space.
No, she shows up at the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, but he ends up driving off into space.
I don't think you understand, Brian. The car drives off into space. Because Japan.
Because you know what? That's about
Aliens.
the best I can do. So.
And then he does a wink at the camera. They say something in
I
Japanese.
think he's winking at her.
Oh.
But they both say the same thing, and who knows what they're saying. This is also while she has assumed the role of the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, she has her hand up in the air?
Yeah, she's,
Oh, it's so confusing. I don't get it.
I don't know either. Whatever.
All right. We should keep moving. Next up is visuals. I know, Brian, you tried to kind of move into that earlier, and I shooed you away.
I mean, I was already there. I'm still there.
Let me take it before you take it.
Okay.
I honestly think this is a pretty good looking game.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Level wise, certain parts are better than others. The outdoor levels are, it's supposed to be more open, so the backgrounds are kind of that lighter gray. They try to throw stuff in to kind of give you an indicator of where you're at, palm trees, skyscrapers, that sort of thing. Once you go underground, it's your typical fare of, tiles and bricks and that sort of thing. Where I think it really shines is in the character animations. As you kind of mentioned earlier.
Absolutely.
He's just like a really cute, very expressive car. For a car, he's very expressive. So they kind of took, well, they didn't take, they were before, but you know how in cars, the cars themselves, their eyes are the windshield and not the headlights?
Right.
And because typically when you make cars characters, the headlights are the eyes. But so this one is in that style where his nose is the headlights and his eyes are the windshield.
Right. Okay.
Granted, at times he kind of looks like a pig with the big nostrils.
Well, he's got a really big grill, and his headlights are huge.
Yeah.
It's kind of like an old school car or something.
He looks like the car that Homer created in The Simpsons. Do you remember that episode?
Yes.
It's like really long in the front.
Yeah.
It looks like something a kid would draw.
Oh, I don't remember the name of that car.
I don't either.
All I can think of is the Canyon Narrow.
Anyway, but he has eyebrows, and like when you brake, he kind of winces, and little sweat drops come out. I'm trying to think of some of the other animations he has. When he finishes the level, he does the old peace sign with the hands, and his eyes are kind of open but closed thing that he does.
He's a happy boy.
He is. He's cute. He's happy. He's a fun main character. So I really like that. Some of the enemy designs are really cool. I think they came up with some fun bad guys.
I mean, they do a good job of making them look nefarious, and those semis are they're huge and evil looking, and
yeah.
The first time I saw one, I was just like, was not expecting that.
Definitely.
We talked about the gas pump and slot machine combo. I'm gonna say it's 2 in 1. It's a gas pump and a slot. So
fair enough.
Because in Vegas, you might as well gamble while you're at the gas pump.
I mean, if you go into the gas station, they do have slot machines in there, but not at the pump. But that's the next step.
Japan was thinking about this
one step ahead
30 years ago. So, yeah, but that's also like kind of one of the few non-car based enemies in the game. The cars also, I wonder, did the angel revive these cars as well, or all cars are alive? I guess.
I mean,
because he was alive in the dump.
That's true.
At the the wreckage yard, as it were. So yeah, they're all like that. But maybe they're just jealous that he got a second shot at life, or maybe our car really is just awful.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to destroy him again.
I know you made mention that the art style, at least with the sprites, is very late 80s anime.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty accurate, especially the fairy girl. She kind of has that old school anime vibe to her. Mm-hmm. So I could see that.
It's apropos of the times.
Yeah. So, I mean, overall, visually, I think it's pretty good. The backgrounds are like okay at times. Certain levels, it works better.
It shows how, we did Mario Land 1 not too long ago, and yes, that's a launch title, but it shows just how far like the backgrounds had come.
Yeah.
Maybe Mario had more going. No, I would say this game has bigger sprites, more going on the screen at any one time, and still has backgrounds that are at the very least compelling. Right. I don't know.
There's also that strobe animation before every boss.
Man, every boss fight, you're gonna have a seizure.
Yeah, for real. It's pretty crazy. Anything else visually, Brian, that we haven't hit on?
No.
All right. Cool. Well, next up is the music. I started with the visual, so I'll let you hit audio, whether it be music or sound effects, anything like that.
I think I was playing this game, I was looking at I was like, let's see if there's a speed run of this somewhere.
Right.
Like, there's got to be one. and just see like how quickly this dude. And I think the answer was like 16 minutes,
Okay.
or at least the YouTube video was 16 minutes. So like maybe 14, 15 minutes it took this guy to beat this game. This person, this YouTuber or whatever.
Right.
So that was a really eye-opening experience for me, watching how much I struggled through that game. I think I probably spent about 3 hours playing through it.
Yeah.
But you kind of turned to me and was like, "Is that you watching something like Kirby's Dream Land or something?" And yes, it's a very apt comparison. The music is very similar. I don't know whether that's just more to do with just the hardware or just the lighthearted nature of the game itself.
Totally.
But it kind of has that same little fun style to it. So,
No, I agree.
Who's to say?
I agree. I think it definitely has kind of a Kirby thing going, which is a huge compliment, I think, because I love the Kirby soundtrack. And so the fact that you literally caught me, I thought it was and it wasn't kind of thing. I think it's pretty cool.
I kept having that thought as I was playing through the game, like, wow, this is very, very Kirby's Dreamland-esque. But, like I said, I couldn't tell. Maybe that's just, that's the way the MIDI sounds on the Game Boy or whatever. So I just kind of brushed it off. But when you said that, I was like, okay, see, yeah, there is something to that.
Now, there is one song that I want to bring up that I want to highlight specifically. I'm going to play it here right now as we talk about it. And it's a slower song used in the game. I can't remember if it's probably level 2, the flying level.
Yes, it is. This is 1, 2.
Yes.
This now really does sound a lot like maybe level 3 in Kirby's Dream Land.
Yes.
That kind of the
and it also has a Mario feel, like the underwater Mario.
This is like it's Mario Land 2.
It's like a waltz kind of thing.
There's the first space level in Mario Land 2. I'm getting a lot of that.
Yeah, and I also feel like this could be in Pokemon.
Yes.
Maybe like like a Poke Center kind of thing. I don't know. I just think that there's some good, different music in this. It's not all the same thing. The flying level, I mean, this really feels like you're up in the clouds, flying around, jumping on birds, looking like a pig,
Yeah,
So
pigs can fly, man.
And so can cars.
Yeah.
Especially in 1991 in Japan.
Pig cars.
Big cars.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's probably one of my favorite ones, minus the level 1 soundtrack is
I got level 1 stuck in my head for a long time.
Yeah.
I got a lot of the music from this game stuck in my head.
Yeah.
I actually really, really like it now.
And I did not expect that. No offense, but from a Japanese release only game, from a company called, what is it, Jalico or something, like I just didn't think I was gonna remember any of it. But it's a dang good soundtrack. So
dang good.
Dang good. So 2 thumbs up on that for me.
Dang good for me.
Dang good. All right, you heard it here first.
All right. 2 thumbs up and a dang good.
Closing thoughts. Brian.
I like this game. That's
Okay.
it. That's it.
No.
I mean, no, I yes, it infuriates me from time to time. I think I was telling you on our Chat of the Wild show, like my fiance will be sitting there watching me play some Zelda game or a game that's like a Zelda game, and I'm just getting furious, and it's like I'm just enraged as I'm trying to get past this part, but I can't. I keep dying. I'm just like, you suck, game. And then I get to the end, I'm just like, wow, I really like this game. Like, it was for Banishing Racer, it's tough. It's kind of annoying at parts, but the act of moving around is fun, and that's kind of what you want in a platformer. You want a game that you enjoy just moving around the levels. Like I said, when you bounce off a bad guy, that's just satisfying the way that it works in the game. And then to go right off a bounce, it gives you a high jump straight into a boost, and then try and boost down and across a treacherous pit or something. Just the act of playing this game is kind of fun. It's very hard, but it's fun.
Yeah. No, I agree. The physics on that bounce off of enemies is really satisfying. In fact, it kind of reminds me of some Mickey games. Castle of Illusion comes to mind. I love when you bounce off an enemy and you just get a lot of air and it's real floaty. And so this one definitely has that, and I like that. No, I totally agree with what you say. With what you said, it's very challenging, but it's a very endearing game. It's really easy to pick up and just get going and have a good time with it. I appreciate that it's not too easy. That it has a good difficulty to it. There is no difficulty decision. You can't do easy, normal, or hard. You're just kind of in it, and so it is challenging. But for a Game Boy game, I think that's pretty welcome. You don't have continues, so even if you do game over, you can just start at the beginning of that world. So a little bit of it is memorizing the level as we go through it. I feel like we didn't hit on that, but I mean, there were times where you just had to learn what was coming.
Yep.
And come back once you had full health or full lives and just knock it out. And so that's not necessarily a bad thing. I don't mind that. And so, yeah, honestly, for a Japanese only released Game Boy game, this one's pretty awesome. And like I mentioned, it's stupid expensive because people have realized that. And so it's really difficult to find one of these at a fair price. So if you do have the ability to check out ROMs, or you have a Game Boy EverDrive cart, I suggest trying this one out. And if you really like it, definitely go buy it. It's difficult to do, and so normally I wouldn't support those other means necessarily. It's kind of frowned upon to play ROMs, but it's really going to be the most realistic way to play it at this point.
Yeah, especially when a loose cart with a one of those classic plastic Game Boy cases.
How much?
$300.
$300 on eBay.
On eBay.
Yeah. So there's a reason it's so expensive, and
I mean that is just a quick glance at the first eBay thing I can find, but yeah.
And that's the thing is Game Boy was region free. It was unlocked, so you don't need a Japanese Game Boy to play this. So you could literally just buy one and bring it over and play it. So eventually people realize, hey, I can import Game Boy games. Here's a good one. Let's get it. So they're harder to find, which is unfortunate. But if you can find a way to play it, I definitely recommend it. I think it's a really cool one to check out. You don't feel like you're missing out on a whole lot story-wise because there isn't a lot to it, and so you can just play the game.
You can make your own story up. It's really one of those kind of things where
thing.
It's really the story is
whatever you
I don't
want to
know.
make of it.
It's just it's open enough that you can interpret it in any way that you want. I think it's funny. The seller says, due to its age, the battery may be out of juice. That leads to the condition that you are not able to save the data. I don't know if this game has a battery in it.
I
don't think there's anything to save in this game.
I think the person just put that up because it's a Game Boy game.
Because
covering his bases,
right?
But, that is funny though. Like, I don't think there's a battery in this one.
It's like the time I bought a DS game from Best Buy, and the person behind the counter was like, "So, do you want to sign up for like CD scratch insurance?" And it's like, no,
I don't. Thank you.
I think I actually went off on that person.
Actually, sir, let me educate you on cartridges.
Listen here, bub.
Oh,
I called him bub.
I saw that.
It was rough.
Brian, any other thoughts on the game?
A fun game.
Yeah, I liked it. So, all right, guys, that's it. Banishing Racer.
And now it's time for Real or Fake, the point in the show where one host tries to stump the other by describing a Game Boy game that is real or fake.
All right, this week on Real or Fake, I have a game.
I'm so ready.
For Brian. Now, this game is a Barbie game. Not the only Barbie game for the Game Boy, let it be known. There was a number of them for Game Boy and Game Boy Color. This game is called Barbie Game Girl. Is it real or is it fake, Brian?
The Game Girl part of it What does that refer to? Like, is she playing? What kind of games is she playing?
It's a play on Game Boy.
Oh.
Game Girl, yeah.
Oh.
So I can't really answer that question per se, but that's the play off of it for the title.
Who made this game?
High Tech.
High Tech. Okay, and do you know if Ken stars in this at all? Is he the Game Boy?
He does not make an appearance in this game.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this is fake.
It's actually real.
Damn it! I suck at this.
Yes, it is a real game. Barbie.
I should have guessed real when you said Game Girl. I was like, that's stupid and
yes.
totally something they would do.
And
but
so, yes.
I wanted it to be fake so bad.
Right. Unfortunately, it's real. Barbie Game Girl is a 2D action platforming video game released in '92 for the Game Boy.
So it has nothing to do with games itself. It's just there for the pun, Barbie Game Girl.
Yes. Basically, Barbie must find an outfit for her date with Ken. The environment features a shopping mall level, an underwater level, and other worlds to explore. The game is also centered on the collecting of gems and pearls to fend off opponents. Enemies in this game. Enemies in this game include the usual sharks found in underwater levels, in addition to jellyfish. Moving cubes of sugar must also be defeated.
Because she has a horse, right? The evil cubes of sugar that she would feed to her horse,
I guess.
Barbette.
Yeah, it sounds pretty terrible. Maybe we'll
you said that they were going to
be
the usual bad guys are the usual sharks. And I was like, oh wow, like sharks are canonical and Barbie, like does she have beef with sharks?
I think they're canonically usual in all platforming underwater levels.
Right, exactly. I thought they were about to go like a different direction with that description.
Yeah. Actually, as far as I can tell, that is the only Barbie game for the original Game Boy.
Really?
But once she hit color, we got a lot more. We have...
That must be where I'm going wrong. It's because I'm just like, there's got to be a million Barbie games on here, and this one sounds dumb, and I've never heard of it.
Barbie Fashion Pack games.
Oh, yeah, where you just dress Barbie up.
Barbie Magical Genie Adventure.
I want to know about that one.
Barbie Ocean Discovery.
Any of these, I would have said that's real.
And then Barbie Pet and Rescue.
Right, that's real.
Yeah.
But Barbie Game Girl, I'm just like, what even is that?
I wish I was that witty to come up with that on my own, though.
Yeah.
But no, it's real.
Barbie Game Girl.
Sorry, Brian, you haven't been able to pull one over.
You're still. What are you? One. It's 1-0 still. So.
No, that's 2 for me now.
You only got 1.
No, I got you with the first real or fake.
Oh, you get a point for that?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's the same as right now.
You get a point
for fooling you.
If I screw up.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I actually have 3 points.
Yeah, you do.
It's 3-0. Sorry. We could just do 1-0 if you want.
I was counting it as I got it right, but yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, it's 3-0. All right, you're right. Okay, fair enough. I'll get you.
Awesome. Well, guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening to Strictly Game Boy. If you want, you can find more of our episodes on thenintendovillage.com. We are also on the Nintendo Village YouTube. If you would like to watch our episodes where we have gameplay footage, if we are showing...
Taken by me.
Yeah, Brian playing through all the games. Yeah, originally I was playing through and capturing footage, and Brian has been kind enough to take over for that. And so I now have 3 hours of Banishing Racer footage to go through.
You could just cut anywhere into it, because a lot of it is just... especially like probably the last half is like 4 levels.
Yeah.
I probably spent an hour and a half on those last 4 levels. So
I'll just cut to the end where it makes it look like you did it in one run.
Right. And why don't we go in it? We'll make like the best speed running splice,
Yeah.
not real, not authentic video ever. Okay.
Well, this episode's only about an hour long as of right now, so I might be able to.
So we'll show
do
it
that.
4 times. Yeah.
No.
World record.
World record. So yeah, guys, if you're not following us on YouTube, check us out there. Speaking of YouTube, I want to give a very quick shout out to one of our faithful listeners on YouTube. His name is Michael Thompson.
Yeah.
Michael has been with us since the very beginning, I think episode either 0 or 1, and he pretty much comments on every video, and
It's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's been really cool. There's some other people that have also been doing that, but I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. In fact, he just commented on our episode from last week, episode 5, just while we were recording here. So I figured give him a quick shout out and just say thank you for listening and watching the YouTube videos. Yes, that's awesome. So
Gave us some really cool suggestions too.
Yeah. A lot of people have been telling us other games that they love, and so we're working on what games we plan to cover in the future, and definitely trying to get some of those in there as well. So guys, if you have any friends who love Game Boy, grew up on the Game Boy, let them know about our show. We are on YouTube and iTunes. You can check us out there. Just search for Strictly Game Boy. We have plenty more coming. Don't you worry. Guys, join us next episode for more Strictly Game Boy, and we will see you next time.
I love you.
I love you too. Oh, fans.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe, check out some of our other videos, and visit thenintendovillage.com, your home for everything Nintendo.